But, alright, y'all. Hold on, that took a while. Welcome back to the I Am Bruce Leroy channel. Obviously, this is your boy Bruce Leroy. Before we get started with today's video, I need to do a few things for me. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, kick all y'all asses. Now, it's player I know I do already. Follow me on all my social media. That includes Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and everything is at I Am Bruce Leroy, alright? So, today's video, we're going to be covering the Eagles and the Ravens not the press conference, I'm stupid. Eagles and the Ravens preseason game. It just took place yesterday. I watched the thing I watched pretty much 90% of the game. I watched basically the whole first half, whole third quarter, and I probably just missed like a tad bit of the fourth, but I saw enough to be able to have a discussion about it. Also, I know y'all thinking like, what happened to the headband? Well, my clothes got washed. I don't know if the headband was in the damn bag or it still need to be washed, but my headband needs to be washed, so I'm going out like LeBron James without the headband today, all right? So I'm going to be headbandless Bruce Leroy for today, but I'm just like the headbandless LeBron is still effective when, you know, he still go out the court, do his thing. That don't change shit. It's the same thing with me, all right? So moving on from that, that's not really relevant. I want to talk about this preseason game, okay? So before we talk about this preseason game, I want to mention three things. The first one's going to be really brief because I kind of already did like a whole video, a whole rant and shit about it. Because y'all, I started to get some traction and some comments. Hold on, y'all. I don't want to hold this water bottle in my hand and shit. So I did a video, you know, addressing the hate I've been receiving. Niggas calling me soft because I don't really like Vic Fangio, and I'm just pointing out some red flags that I see personally, right? Hold on, make sure. Yee! Feel like my music part. Anyway, moving on from that. So, y'all got mad at me about my Vic Fangio opinion and whatnot, and I made a whole video about it. So long story short, okay, I'm not going to get into, I did a whole 30-minute rant talking about this. For y'all new booties that ever come on my channel, just know that each and every one of you have every right to disagree with me, dispute what I'm saying. You can say that I'm wrong if you feel like I'm wrong. What you won't do is bully me into agreeing with you. It's not going to happen, right? I don't know what y'all do with other Eagles content creators. Like I said in the last video, I'm not really an Eagles content creator, right? That's part of what I do, but that's not the word you would describe me, right? I'm an entertainer. Put on many different hats. I talked about it in the video. Y'all want to y'all want to go through the whole, I'm not going through the whole shit, all right? Long story short, because we have a lot to talk about concerning the Philadelphia Eagles and then, you know, some other shit that's been going on in the NFL that I would like to speak about. But long story short, I say what the fuck I want to say on my channel. My opinion is my opinion. I don't say shit for shock value. If it comes off as shock value, it comes off as a hot take. It comes off as a hot take, right? Y'all think I'm wrong with what I'm saying, then y'all think I'm wrong with what I'm saying. But bottom line is, I always stand 10 toes on what I say. If I'm wrong and I catch that I'm wrong, I apologize. Or if you just feel like that maybe your opinion is more valid than mine, that's fine. But you call me out of my name and try to bully me into agreeing with y'all or having the same opinion because I'm being critical of someone that maybe you're not as critical on, it's just not going to happen. So don't come on this channel trying to bully me. Just enjoy the content, all right? So moving on from that, all right? So a couple other things. So I want to talk about the Sirianni, Nick Hurts. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts relationship, right? Because it's been brought back up again because these old-ass Colonel Sanders-looking motherfuckers once again said that they old-ass is going to turn up some bonanza or the Price is Right or some shit. They're still talking about last year. Every single person in that facility, we haven't forgotten about, last year. The team hasn't forgotten about last year. Us fans haven't forgotten about last year. But the reality situation is, we moved on. So we all know that it's been reported last year, for those of you that do remember, that Jalen Hurts was calling for Nick Sirianni to do more intermediate routes. Nick Sirianni ignored him. As evident as we've seen, we literally became the worst goddamn team in the NFL despite making the playoffs the last 7 weeks of last year, right? Here's the reality situation. Whatever relationship has been fractured or not the same, and then like what really killed me about this whole situation was like I decided, like, you know what, I don't really like mainstream sports. Because I'm going to tell you something about mainstream sports. I said it before on my channel and I'll say this again. Mainstream sports are dick riders. What do I mean by that? They really only cover teams that's hot. And that's just putting it lightly, right? They only cover teams that's hot. So What they're really doing is they cover all these sports, all 32 of these teams. And the reality situation is you're not really, especially the ones that aren't, and because the Eagles, we have a great roster. That's why they're speaking about us. It's because of our roster and who we have on the team. But the reality situation is if we didn't have the people that, if we didn't have the talent we have on our roster, we didn't have Saquon Barkley, we didn't have Quinyon Mitchell, we didn't have, A.J. Brown, or, you know what I'm saying? If we didn't have, or Jalen Carter, if we didn't have some of the guys that we had on our team, we would not be discussed in mainstream media whatsoever. So what really kills me that mainstream media is really dick rides. They only really give a shit about who's hot. Right now, who's hot? The 49ers, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Josh Allen's still a top 5 quarterback. Joe Burrow's still a top 5 quarterback, right? So they'll cover those teams. Lamar Jackson, right? Even though Lamar Jackson gets some unreasonable hate despite the fact that he literally gets better every year, the only question with him is can he stay healthy enough and can Baltimore bring receivers in the building? Because I'm telling you right now, and I'm not here to talk about the Ravens, but I'm going to, well, I am here to talk about the Ravens, it's not the Ravens starters. I'm telling y'all this right now, okay? This is the truth. The Ravens will not go to the Super Bowl this year because they don't have the receiving core, right? So Odell Beckham is no longer on the team. You didn't replace anybody. You basically kept the same roster, just Zay Flowers. Do you honestly think that Zay Flowers is good enough or physical enough or has enough talent to be by himself to have the responsibility of being a number one, right? Because I'm not expecting Rashad Bateman to do anything crazy or any of the other receivers that they have on the team. I'm just not. If you want a quarterback, an elite quarterback to win you football games and win you Super Bowls, because I could see them get to the playoffs. They could potentially win the AFC North, and at the end of the day, Joe Burrow. As long as Joe Burrow's healthy, the Bengals are always a threat. Pittsburgh quarterback is a mess right now. I don't know what the hell happened with Russell Wilson, but he might not even start. And then Justin Fields got his start. He's not doing so hot either. So it's a mess over there in Pittsburgh. But Baltimore has a chance to win the division and hopefully contend for a Super Bowl, but they're not winning a Super Bowl. I don't even think they'll get to an AFC championship. And they lost a lot of key pieces on defense, right? They got rid of Geno Stone. Speaking of which, I'm already going to throw this out there. They did a really, really good job on picking Nate Wiggins. You know what's funny? I didn't realize that during this game, but Nate Wiggins did apparently suffer some type of injury. I guess maybe I wasn't at my phone, I wasn't watching the game, whatever the case may be, but he did suffer some kind of injury. But he actually, shout out to Nate Wiggins, he played really well for Baltimore. So that was a good pickup by Baltimore. But you lost Geno Stone, you lost Patrick Queen. You still got Kyle Hamilton and maybe one or two others, but you also lost your defensive coordinator. Which again, I understand that Baltimore is going to run the same defense, but it genuinely matters. So that team's not going to go anywhere, long story short. But, I heard mainstream media speaking on it, and Kimberly Martin said some stupid shit, like the dumbest fucking shit. See, ESPN, there's a reason why they're losing ratings. Not only because these player podcasts are out, and, they were real players who actually played the game and had experience playing the game, who understand the sports that they speak on because they've experienced it firsthand, right? Not only that, they have stories, behind the scenes stories that people have never heard before that people do want to hear. I'm not going to lie, some of this shit was kind of wild. But it is entertaining at the same time to hear behind the scenes stories about what take place in some of these locker rooms. People are entertained by that. They're entertained by the trauma and the fights and all the extra wild shit that happened outside of the public knowledge, right? So here's the reality situation. So going back to what Kimberly Martin said, she said some dumb shit. She was like, "Yeah, can they just admit that, like, yes, we messed up, we were horrible, like whatever." Like, listen very, very carefully, okay? I'm gonna tell you why Kimberly Martin said how fucking stupid Kimberly Martin sounds when she said what she just said. I'll give you a real life example, okay? That is like me. Let's just say, for instance, a member of corporate comes over to my job, right? and then they ask me about my boss. And let's just say I don't really fuck with my boss for whatever reason, right? Because majority of us don't really fuck with our bosses, right? If you do, then, hey, congratulations. But most of us don't really fuck with our bosses like that, right? We're under their command, so we have to listen to them, and we obviously respect that. Otherwise, our asses would be having a job. But not a lot of us are fans of our bosses, right? So that's like me saying, that's like me, I fucking hate my boss. But then somebody from corporate or HR comes to me and say, hey, you know, how are things with your manager? Is management treating you well? And that's like me saying every motherfucking thing possible to throw them under the bus. While they can literally, they see my face, they know my name, and they can relate. You don't know who they can relay that information back to, or whether or not they'll actually be able to tell management what was said. So that's like me, long story short, talking shit about management while I still work at the job. It makes zero fucking sense, right? And how out of fucking touch mainstream media is. The Eagles fans, we are used to the goddamn media starting shit. We're used to Philadelphia reporters starting shit. That's why when A.J. Brown came on there a second time, he was basically like, so he was on a call with, I think, WIPPY. I had a joke for like what their initials stand for, but I forgot about it. Bottom line is this. So he was on the phone call. He was like, yeah, he said basically like, you know, why y'all, he was basically saying, even if we tell y'all the truth, y'all still not going to believe us. I'm paraphrasing. Because everybody wants a story. Everybody wants to make this Sirianni and Hurts. Everybody wants Hurts to like go crazy, curse out the coach, or just, you know, just really just say some off the wall shit. Jalen Hurts is a fucking professional. He's a smart guy. That's why he played where he played. Listen, when he plays well, he plays well. He's a leader. Okay? He's a leader. Imagine a leader that's a drama queen. Who the fuck is going to listen to that person? Because that person, leaders bring people together, not divide. You understand what I'm saying? It would be fucking stupid while he's still the quarterback of the team to say, you know what, yeah, Nick Sirianni failed this last year. That nigga don't know what the fuck he doing at all. That nigga don't even know what a fucking Hail Mary look like. Like, it would be fucking stupid of him, very foolish and stupid of Jalen Hurts to go up on a podium and list every fucking problem. Even if he didn't necessarily like Sirianni, he just tolerated him because that's his coach. It would be fucking idiotic of him, especially being the leader and the quarterback of the team. Everybody looks up to this guy. Jalen Hurts is the face of the Philadelphia Eagles right now. It would be very stupid and unwise, especially with all of the money that he's making, to go and sit up there and talk shit about the coach that literally is still his head coach. Just imagine, bro. I want y'all to think about it like this. The fucking Broncos, right? Who, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I just don't think Sean Payton wanted a black quarterback. I'm just keeping it real. Because Russell Wilson, they never really addressed the offensive line problem over there. The offensive line problem has been an issue since Peyton Manning officially retired from the team. They always had an offensive line problem that they never patched up. The wide receivers outside of Courtland Sutton and maybe one or two other guys, they're just okay. They don't have enough weapons on either side of the ball. And they gave up Bradley Chubb and got nothing for return. They got Justin Simmons, who was elite, which I'm surprised nobody's picked him up. But most likely, I don't know why here's the thing about Justin Simmons that everybody keeps talking about, we should go get Justin Simmons. Number one, I don't think we should do Blankenship dirty like that. I think we should give him another shot. You got to understand this, right? And I know some of Joey Shakes and a lot of y'all were complaining about Reed Blankenship's performance. Here's a reality situation, right? Reed Blankenship was an undrafted fucking free agent. He was not even supposed to be a starter. So literally, him starting on a football team is like a fucking a first round pick going to the Pro Bowl. And like, just imagine you're the first pick of the draft, right? Or you're in the first round. And you go to the Pro Bowl in your rookie year. That is the equivalent of Reed Blankenship not only just making the football team, literally starting and performing as well. And I think he picked off Rodgers like 2 times in his debut as a starter. Because Charleston Gardner-Johnson had a situation with his kidney, I think. Don't quote me on that. It was a kidney or spleen, I don't remember. But he came in and he was not even supposed to be starting, right? I do think that Reed Blankenship, because of his lack of athleticism, sometimes it hurts him in coverage. But I absolutely think he's a good enough player who, like the whole entire defense, they were set up for failure. They were not taught by guys who knew what they were doing. The coaching staff was atrocious. The defensive coordinators were horrible. The staffing under them. I even said something about before the preseason when the preseason was starting. I said they should have never got rid of the I forgot this guy's name. Dumbass. But we had him a couple years ago because he was upset that they didn't give him the coordinator job or whatever. They didn't give him they didn't allow him to be the defensive coordinator, right? Because that's the next person that was up in line. I think it was like Gannon's right hand man or something like that. But anyway, I said last year, it's something weird about how these DBs are moving their feet, especially Kelly Rango, like they're not being taught correctly. I said that even before the season even started. I even said that during a preseason. I believe it was the first. I probably waited until all the it was either after the first preseason game or I waited until all the preseason games were finished. Something of that sort. But I did mention it in the preseason last year. You can check one of my videos. It's literally, it'll say like the preseason thing up there. It'll have it in the title. But Sirianni's still the head coach of this team. But why would I, as an employee of a job, talk shit about the people that are higher up while needing the job? So bring it back full circle, because there's a reason why I mentioned the Broncos. Russell Wilson was making mad money. They gave him franchise quarterback money. They gave him a big-ass contract just to play for them. And they let him go. And literally, the Broncos are going to be dog shit for the next 3 years because of a dumbass front office that literally said, we don't really want a black quarterback, so we're just going to pretend that he's underperforming. But really, we didn't give him enough weapons in the first place for him to succeed, right? I'm not saying Russell Wilson was, oh my God, amazing, but he definitely his first year there he was ass, complete ass. His second year, he was actually decent. Like, he had good games, and he was playing hard. You know what I'm saying? It's just, but that team doesn't have anybody. You know, y'all gave away pieces for fucking free and didn't get enough draft. You gave away franchise pieces like Bradley Chubb. You gave away mad pieces for no draft compensation. You gave away Von Miller with no draft compensation. So you kept giving away players for fucking cheap or damn near for free. Like, and then you're expecting him to as a player who's getting paid all this money to win you football games. It can't happen. It's fucking impossible. You don't even have a run. The Broncos don't have a fucking run game. They don't have a legit. I thought it was gonna be Javon Williams, but you know his second year played. I was like, ugh. But they don't even have a running back to help balance shit out. They don't have a running back at all. You know what I'm saying? And the draft class wasn't really great. We'll see what happens. We'll see who stands out this year. But this year's draft class, as far as running backs are concerned, it was far from stellar, right? Just imagine this: the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken, took the biggest cap hit in league history because they didn't want him to be the quarterback. Just imagine. And listen, I'm not saying like I fuck with Jeffrey Lurie, I fuck with High Rose, but I don't think they'll ever do that. But just imagine if what happened with Russell Wilson, that could happen to anybody. Mind you, Russell Wilson didn't even do shit wrong. Okay, he wasn't ass. You know what I'm saying? He was a solid quarterback that did the best he could to make the best out of the situation. He wasn't ass last year. You know what I'm saying? He did. Truth to be told, he did his best. That's the truth. And he didn't perform that. He didn't perform bad. Like he wasn't stellar, but he wasn't. He really made the best out of a situation that really wasn't a lot there. Okay, just keeping it real. And the coaching was the play calling from Sean Payton was fucking atrocious. Atrocious. But I talked about that last year. We're going to move on from that. And the NFL finds you for every little fucking thing. So you don't know what goes on behind the scenes, because sometimes you have to wait until a player retires to get on one of these motherfucking podcasts and be like, yeah, did you know that when I did X, Y, and Z, I was fine for that shit? Like, oh, really? Like that? You just don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And just regardless if there's a possible fine that could happen out of you saying some wild shit, you know, he's the leader of the football team. He's the face of the franchise. You understand what I'm saying? So like it looks awkward. And then on top of that, the media has a tendency to ask other players about situations that they'll be like, yeah, what do you think about Jalen Hurts doing X, Y, Z? Mind you, the person could be like fucking Devontae Smith. You know what I'm saying? Pause. Without even realizing it, I just named a realistic scenario because Devontae Smith, they asked him about the Sirianni shit. And Devontae Smith he looked annoyed like the rest of us. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I would have said the same shit. Like, stop fucking asking about another man who ain't got shit, like, the situation. Go ask them. And then even Jalen Hurts was like, in the thing, he was like, y'all still on this? Like, because he said something about, like, you know, the rumors and reality. It's like, y'all making up these bullshit stories, but the reality is it's something else. And that's something what I alluded to when A.J. Brown got on the WIPPY. When he got on the radio call, he was saying like, yo, even if we tell you the truth, y'all still going to go with whatever narrative y'all going to go with. So it doesn't even matter at that point in time. So that's what they're doing. So mainstream media is out of touch. They're thinking like, oh yeah, well, you know, it's really, really bad over there. Let me tell you something right now. They acting like this motherfucker about to Jalen Hurts about to pull a goddamn Latrell Sprewell choke the shit out of Sirianni. It's not like that. It's a complete different regime. It's a play caller. And really, if the mainstream media took his time to do his goddamn research, they would find that everything is cool. Like Jalen Hurts, you know, and Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore, they're getting on the same page. Jalen Hurts looks comfortable. There was talk that, hey, Jalen Hurts needs to be be more outgoing, more of a vocal leader, more of trying to, you know, really relate to the guys. And Jalen Hurts is actually answering those rumors and being about that. I mean, this nigga's talking to backup receivers, backup quarterbacks. This nigga's talking to any and everybody on the team. Matter of fact, they even showed a clip of him on TV talking to somebody I didn't even fucking recognize. I never even knew he was talking to fucking Will Greer, who probably not even going to make the fucking roster. To be quite honest with you, right? This nigga's talking to any and everybody. So at the end of the day, you can tell how Jalen Hurts speaks. He's much more confident. He's much more sure of himself. Like, he's just like, he got this shit. Like he got this fucking, a cocky swagger about him that actually is not even like a turn off, pause. It's actually in a way admirable. Cause it's like, damn, like he know what the fuck he's doing. Like, the way he talk, and then, you know, Short Parks played this dumbass, 157 attempts without an interception. It's the first time in his whole year. Look at last year. Like, it's fucking trading. If we throw an interception, who gives a fuck? All right, y'all. And continuing on that conversation, no disrespect to Deshaun Jackson and LeSean McCoy. Both of them are legends. Deshaun Jackson not only is an Eagles legend who performed really well, it's unfortunate that the asshole Short Parks had to basically write an article that he played for a piece of shit coach. You know what I'm saying? He played for a racist piece of shit, and then he had to deal with a fucking reporter who still to this fucking day, he went on a social media hiatus, and when he came back, this motherfucker came back like motherfuckers did just expose this asshole for writing an article presenting no evidence on Deshaun Jackson whatsoever. So, I respect Deshaun Jackson. LeSean McCoy, when it comes to my list, is Barry Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson, LeSean McCoy, Marshall Faulk. Those are my favorite running backs. So, Shady's third. But sometimes they say shit like they kind of out of touch of what's going on. Like, I'll give you an example. So, Deshaun Jackson was talking about, oh, yeah, he said, Kellen Moore, you better get your stuff together because, like, I'm hearing these reports or whatever, and I know when Jalen Hurts looks uncomfortable with things of that nature, I'm like, I'm not trying not to disrespect you guys because I have a shit ton of respect. Y'all are, I grew up watching y'all. I am fans of y'all, not just because I'm an Eagles fan. Even before I became an Eagles fan, I think it was like either a Saints or a Packers fan, and when y'all came on Sundays, I was tuned in. Like, y'all were one of my favorite players. Y'all two were one of my favorite players growing up. So I have a great ton of respect. But sometimes y'all sit back, y'all talk, and y'all say shit that's like kind of like it's out of touch. Because if you pay attention to what's going on, the rumors that are going on with the training camp, you read the articles, you look at some of these open practices that have been taking place, you look at how Jalen Hurts is talking on that podium, and he looks like a completely different fucking person. He looks like a person that's like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, like, we in a thunderstorm, right? Everybody on the ship panicking. Oh my God, we're gonna die, we're gonna sing, help, it's gonna be the 2024 version Titanic, someone help me, I'm gonna die, ow, help me, please. You know what I'm saying? Everybody going crazy and shit, right? And Jalen Hurts is like, hey, stop, I got this. You know what I'm saying? That shit was kind of corny, but bottom line is this. It seemed like that he the captain of the ship, and he maneuvered that motherfucker. He got everybody out the storm and everything. Like, he's accepted his role as a leader of this football team. He's been a leader, but I see everything coming full circle right now. So if you see his demeanor, you watch some of his press conferences, and hearing him talk, you hear some of the articles being written about it, and you actually see him throw the football. This is a completely different Jalen Hurts. This is not a Jalen. This is a Jalen Hurts that he's comfortable, right? So I want to go off of that. So long story short, mainstream media doesn't know what the fuck they're talking. They're completely out of touch. Eagles fans, we know the deal already with these racist assholes. They just like when fucking Dan still talk about some. Oh yeah, Devontae Smith better watch out because if AJ Brown gets paid before him, he's going to get jealous. Even Devontae Smith responded back to him, you know, with an emoji. He basically was clowning dude, but like, yo, like, listen, like, you know, like, I don't understand what kind of riff you trying to start or whatever, but why wouldn't I want somebody that deserves to get paid? And both of them ended up getting paid this offseason, and both of them are going to be here for a very long time. So, shout out to Harry Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie and all those guys for making that take place. Okay? Now, I'll talk about the CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jones situation. Now, part of me wants to laugh at this, and the other part is like, well, I kind of actually feel bad. Because it's like, I want the Cowboys to be happy. I want to be like, yeah, we're going to see them out there, win the Super Bowl and everything. And then when the season started, it's the whole motherfucking Cowboys cycle. Like, that's what I want. I kind of feel low-key bad. I ain't going to lie to you. I kind of feel bad about Cowboys fans. Because it's like, when somebody's going out of their way to sabotage this team, they didn't do shit. When I say they didn't do shit in free, they did nothing. Okay? As of right now, and it's funny because, okay, let's just say I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, maybe you didn't do anything in free agency because you're trying to save money so you can go extend those guys. You got to extend. You got to give Michael Parsons. You got to back the brake truck for Michael Parsons. You got to back the brake truck for CeeDee Lamb. And you got to extend Dak Prescott, which I don't see how that's going to work. But it's going to be difficult because unless the Cowboys are taking for Shador, which that was the theory I posed on Twitter. That's what I think is going on. Because going to free agency, you're not going to find a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. You're just not. I'm keeping it all the way 1,000 with you. You're not going to do that. So the only other theory that I have as far as why they haven't given Dak Prescott his extension yet, and at the end of the day, they have Trey Lance. Do I really think that Trey Lance is going to be good enough to get it done? I don't know. Time will tell. Because if they can't even if they have... Dak is still throwing interceptions in training camp, okay? Again, and not just one, multiple times, okay? So it's a mess over there in Dallas, Texas. Bottom line is this, right? So, shit, lost my train of thought. Yes. So, you know, them extended Prescott to me, I guess it, you know, whatever. He had mad chances to get it done. I understand why he's hesitant to do Dak Prescott. I understand. Michael Parsons still hasn't gotten a contract. I thought he definitely should have got extended. CeeDee Lamb. Listen, I criticize CeeDee Lamb for how he behaved and how he performed. Like, that's not behavior. That's behavior. He showed divisive behavior in that Green Bay game. When things aren't going your way, you don't show your quarterback out. You go out there and you go play, and there's a way you get your point across to your quarterback where you're not making him feel like, where you're not belittling him. You understand what I'm saying? And you don't make it worse by showing a lack of effort. You know what I mean? But Dak, he tried to patch it up so much that he threw a dumbass interception and CeeDee wasn't even fucking open. But regardless of how I feel about how he performed in the divisionals, from a mentality standpoint and how you're supposed to conduct yourself as a teammate, CeeDee Lamb is a top 2, maybe 3. Hell, he ain't top 2. CeeDee Lamb is a top 4 or 5 wide receiver in this league. Okay, Fuck it. He's a top 5 wide receiver in this league, CeeDee Lamb. And maybe 6 at the very lowest. But I'm just giving the benefit of the doubt. CeeDee Lamb had 1,700 fucking yards last year. CeeDee Lamb had some big games last year. Okay? CeeDee Lamb is the furthest thing from your problem. And on top of that, you drafted him. So my question is this. You didn't spend any money in free agency. Okay? You want to use the excuse that you're trying to save up money to extend guys. Whatever. You did not fucking draft that great. Who knows how Guyton is going to play. Guyton might turn out to be a good player. I'm not going to go on that far. But you didn't draft anybody that great. What the fuck are you doing, Jerry Jones? I mean, seriously, like it's funny because I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm mad for Cowboys fans. What the fuck are you doing with this football team? And I made a joke on Twitter saying that he should follow suit with Joe Biden and step down. But I'm keeping it real. This motherfucker needs to sell the team. He either needs to give it to his son or whatever the case may be. But this motherfucker right here does not need to have the team. Literally since the fucking 90s, this nigga sabotaged the team. This nigga had Jim Johnson. Was a great coach. They were winning. The players gravitated. They liked his style of coaching. You fired the nigga in the middle of him being successful, pulled the fucking Jerry Krause move. You fired him. And you literally... Only difference is Jerry Jones didn't do anything to spite a specific player. Jerry Krause did it because he wanted to spite Michael Jordan because he didn't want... Well, part of it was after the fact, after everything's been going on, Jerry Krause get tired of being made fun of and clowned and shit like that. Other part was he was low-key racist and never really wanted Michael Jordan to be the face of the league. He never appreciated Michael because he didn't want a black face, a black figure to be the star of the team. He wanted to be like, fuck that. I'm the star of this team. I made you. Even though he didn't, he just fucking drafted him. But that's sometimes how some of these niggas think. But bottom line, that's a soapbox conversation. Let's stay on topic here. So Jerry Jones was asked, he would say, yeah, so where is going on with the extension because CD's holding out, whatever case may be. The nigga said, I'm not in a rush to get anything done right now. And then CD responded, LOL, I think Michael Parsons retweeted his shit. I mean, at this point in time, there is nothing. It's kind of like, I find it funny because I'm an Eagles fan, but then again, I don't. Because it's like, why the fuck are you going out of your way to purposefully sabotage your team? Like, this was probably the worst offseason a Super Bowl contender has ever had. This nigga, when I said this nigga motherfucker didn't do anything, nothing. They didn't even fucking re-sign Stephon Gilmore and he played well. He could have re-signed to another 1-year deal, wouldn't have hurt. I'm sure Stephon Gilmore I'm sure he would have loved to be able to come back on the team. I mean, how much money was Stephon Gilmore really asking for? Because you didn't spend anything on a free agency, so what the fuck are you using that money for? You're supposed to be the richest, one of the most wealthiest franchises in North America. What the fuck are you doing with the money, Jerry Jones? You wiping your ass with it? You wiping your sweat when you sitting up there in that fucking hot ass room, in the hot ass VIP bar? What are you doing? Are you spending that money at a fucking strip club, nigga? What are you doing? What are you doing with the fucking money, my nigga? Like what are you doing with it? Because when you draft a player and he exceeds expectations, as CeeDee Lamb has exceeded expectations, you pay the motherfucker his money. Just like how Howie Roseman was on the conference, he was talking about Devontae Smith. He said, you don't let talent. He's a homegrown talent. He said, you don't let guys like that just walk out of here. Howie Roseman get it. This motherfucker, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the Matrix going on in his brain. You know how I don't know if fucking Space Invaders going on in his brain. And motherfuckers up there just shooting at niggas playing laser tag with his brain cells. The brain cells just popping as we speak. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Because there's no way in the hell you get a homegrown talent, my nigga, that has exceeded expectations, top 5 in his position, elite player, maybe a future Hall of Famer if he stays healthy, and you just say, oh, I'm not going to pay him. What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, nigga? So, like, at the end of the day, it's crazy how I'm actually yelling like it's my Eagles that's fucking up, but it's them. So that's all I wanted to say, but that motherfucker's an idiot. So let's get to the game. Let's still film real quick. Let's get to this game, man, because we talked a lot about it. We went on a soapbox a little bit. So, first things first, The kickoff rules is fucking stupid. I mean, who the fuck asked for this shit? You motherfuckers can't even change the field from turf to grass to make it easier on the players to play on so that they don't get injuries and shit. It was reported before the game started that the starters were going to play one series, and that was it. So what ended up happening is there was a tropical storm threat. And people thought that, you know, because of the heavy rain and the downpours, this would be really bad. Turns out Baltimore was, you know, the field was in great condition. So, you know, whatever was supposed to take place, it didn't happen, and the weather was good pretty much for the whole entire game. So Sirianni said that he didn't want to risk it. You know, he didn't want to put his players in that position. I don't know how to feel about that one, because at the same time, it's like you kind of fucked yourself over last year when you didn't play much of the starters really at all. But at the same time, it's like, you know, you really have to be careful, because if somebody get injured, like a Saquon Barkley or Jalen Hurts, that's your whole fucking season. Or A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, whoever, a big name guy get hurt, that's it. Jalen Carter, Jordan, like whatever. If a big name get hurt, it's a problem. So the offensive starters didn't play. The defensive starters, though, did play. So I could definitely tell that. One thing to pay attention to, and please keep an eye on, y'all. Pay attention to the control, because there's clearly more of a control on the offensive side of the ball than the defense. And literally that move right there about as far as making a decision to sit the starters, but the majority of them there, the whole defense actually at least played one series. Like Fangio had them niggas on the field. Not everybody, because I think Slay didn't play. And maybe Blankenship didn't play, and probably, I think that was it. I think everybody else played. Devin White, when the little time he played, he definitely showed that he's going to be a problem. And it's really, really nice to see how Vic Fangio is allowing him to blitz. But I want to talk about, let's talk about the offense, right? So let's start off with Kenny Pickett. One thing I noticed about Kellen Moore's offense right off the bat, first things first, I'm a little bit pissed off that there wasn't a lot of single back play. There wasn't a single back play until our first touchdown drive. It was like maybe 2 or 3 of them ran. I get it. It's preseason. You want to show your whole hand. But I'm going to give Kellen Moore the benefit of the doubt by saying this. I think Kellen Moore did present the idea of having single back formations. My theory is Jalen Hurts was not comfortable with it and just was like, you know what? I really like the way our offense was moving in 23. I like the way it looked. Just, I guess maybe, you know, it's your offense. I get it. But like, this is what I'm comfortable with. This is what I want to stick with. So, In my theory, I don't think Jalen Hurts is comfortable lining up behind center. Which kind of fucking sucks. I really think that there's a lot of opportunities at single back, but he was successful in 2023. So whatever he's comfortable with is whatever he's comfortable with, right? So that was so the offense. It looks pretty much the same, except for a few things. One, for Kellen Moore. A lot of 4 wide receiver sets, first and foremost. Number 2, lots of spacing. You don't see guys kind of all in each other's area and shit. Everybody's just kind of spaced out. That's good. The routes were beautiful. I seen guys coming across the middle. You know, there was some all-out blitzes, and I was, you know, looking at the replays of like when the I don't know if it was McKee or Pickett. And I saw guys that were open. Kenny sometimes Pickett didn't just deliver the ball on time. I'm not going to apologize to Kevin Kellenborg just because I was not a fan of the hire to begin with. And I said we should have had Cliff Kingsbury. I don't apologize for that bit because I don't think Cliff Kingsbury would have really had this team going in the right direction. I think we needed somebody completely different. We don't need a rendition of pretty much what happened last year. And really, I don't know if I think Kingsbury is in Washington. Don't quote me on that. But I think you need a more experienced play caller with actual success in the NFL. And that happened to be Kellenborg. Because let's keep it real. As much as I'm not a fan of the hire, I want to make sure my stuff's still on. As much as I'm not a fan of the hire, he's had success with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not gonna lie, act like he did it. He did. He just didn't go far enough. Right? He had damn near the number 1 offense in the NFL. He had Dak having 4,000 4,000 yard seasons. He had games where he threw like for 400 plus yards. So like Dak was actually very successful in his offense. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna act like that they had 0. I think the biggest part with me was, are they gonna run the ball enough? Right? Definitely a lot of running in this offense. So good spacing. I like the routes. There definitely is some pre-snap motion. And one thing that stood out to me versus everything else, it seemed like ever since Doug Peterson left Philadelphia, because one thing that people don't give credit for Nick Foles' success was that Doug Peterson understood there's a difference between, I'm about to say Trevor Lawrence, Carson Wentz, and Nick Foles. And Doug Peterson did a really, really good job of playing to Nick Foles' strengths. Foles didn't have the biggest arm. But hey, we're going to work the hell out of this intermediate shit, and we're going to give you easy completions to help you out. That's exactly what Kellen Moore did with Kenny Pickett. And that's what the older regime wasn't able to do with Gardner Minshew, Tanner McKee. You know what I mean? It's, as great as Tanner McKee was, we'll talk about his performance later on, as great as his performance was in last preseason, they didn't really help him out. They didn't give him, because Tanner McKee's not that fast or athletic. They didn't really simplify the offense to allow him to do what he does, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was that. Pickett looked like he was better than Mariota. Okay, 100 times better than Mariota. His arm strength is not, I'm not crazy about his arm strength, being honest with you. When it comes to, because there's going to be a time, God forbid, but there might be a time where he has to step in because Jalen Hurts might be hurt or something. God forbid, not wishing injury upon the guy. Definitely not wishing it. But he might have to step into the game. And if they get behind and he has to throw the ball down the field, that shit he was doing in the preseason is not going to work. He's going to have to stretch that ball down the field. He's going to have to make big plays down the field. But as far as in terms of being competent enough to run the offense and run it well, I thought Kellen Moore did a really good job of giving Kenny Pickett easy completion and good routes, right? So Kenny Pickett did play amazing. I'll give him a B, but he wasn't ass either. Like I feel like that he understood the offense and he did his job as far as the offense was concerned. So I ain't gonna get on Kenny Pickett. He performed well. Tanner McKee. I really like Tanner McKee because Tanner McKee is not afraid to throw the fucking ball. Is he perfect? No. His athleticism, his lack of athleticism sometimes hurt him. But I really like his willingness to throw the ball down the field. And my nigga, he was accurate. I mean, this motherfucker was out here throwing to special teamers. You know special teamers, they be like hella short. They body be all over the place. They look kind of out of shape. They look like fucking adult pee-wee football players. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That's what this motherfucker was throwing to, and they was dropping a pass. And he was putting that motherfucker on the money. There was one throw he made, I forgot to who, put that motherfucker right on the money. I mean, that shit, it was an intermediate route, but it was a big boy throw. I really like how Tanner McKee is not afraid to throw the football. I still think, in my opinion, Kenny Pickett should be quarterback 2, but I think we should just kind of wait it out and see. But Kenny Pickett is my quarterback number 2. But I really, really like Tanner McKee. And if Tanner McKee can do something that's like, if he could perform, if he can have one really big game this preseason, I think it will shake up the conversation. But as of right now, if I'm going to say, okay, who's my QB2, it's I have to say Kenny Pickett. But I am a little bit worried because if he needs to stretch the ball down the field and he needs to make plays throwing the ball down the field, I'm worried it might not go so well. But like if they're starting off the game is 0-0 and they're trying to take command of the situation, I think he'll be fine. So I want to have a conversation about Will Shipley. People's like, okay, his running is not that great, more of a receiving back. But I got to handle Will Shipley. He was the guy that I think was one of the only guys, him and I think this other guy, number 38. As far as the running backs was concerned, Gainwell ran pretty damn good. He runs violent. He's fast. He got that strong burst. Kenny Gainwell did a really, really good job when he was in the game. Will Shipley surprised me a lot because he's not just okay. He's a good, no, this nigga, he can legitimately get some playing time. Like, that's how good he was. Even though, obviously, it's going to be Saquon, Kenny G, and Will Shipley. That's how the running back order should be. Joey Shakes ever said, oh, they should be able to keep 4 running backs? I don't think so. I think maybe you'll have a running back on a practice squad. In my opinion, I think it should be that guy Price from the who used to be on the 40. He was like a 3rd-round pick for the 49ers. because he ran hard. I'm not really a big fan of number 38. The other guy they had with the dreads, I don't remember his name. Actually, let me find out. I'm looking at my shit right now. Was it Kendall Milton? Yeah. So the guy named with the dreads was it was Lou Nichols. I'm not big on him. Pause. I'm not too keen on him. Gainwell, not Gainwell, sorry. Milton, I didn't really get a chance to, like, I heard it, but I was like walking around doing some other shit. I don't know how Kendall Milton ran, but very impressed with Shipley. Shipley can run block. Dumbass. He can catch, and actually he's a much better runner than what we give him credit for. Okay? Johnny Wilson might be proving Steve Smith wrong, and I'm all here for Johnny Wilson to prove Steve Smith wrong because he was really, really good blocking. I think he made a catch or two. Nick Wiggins performed well, but like he drew maybe a couple PIs here and there that may or not have gotten called, I don't remember. But Johnny Wilson looks better than what people would low-key say, all right, he ain't gonna do the nah. Johnny Wilson can play. By the way, can we put some fucking respect on Britton Covey, man? He put some goddamn respect on Britton Covey, I swear. Making big boy catches. Did a really good job running through contact after the catch. Almost had a punt return touchdown, I think sometime in it was either, I don't know if it was the second quarter or sometime in the second half. That special teams blocking, it needs some work though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Special teams blocking, the special teams defense did good. Special teams blocking, I'm not keen on that. We need to do a better job on blocking on special teams because the same shit that happened last year when a player ran into Britton Covey and stopped him from getting a touchdown. The same shit happened. I promise you he would have scored. Dude breaking tackles. He like everybody's saying, oh, he's just gonna be a gadget guy. I'm telling you right now, if Kellen Moore is smart, Britton Covey should get in the game. Britton Covey is a legitimate wide receiving weapon. Is he good enough to be wide receiver 3? I don't know. But I think he could be at number 4. John Ross was up and down. Sometimes he'll make a good play. The other time he'll do some shit was just kind of like a head scratch. So John Ross is kind of up and down to me. I don't really think the guy is going to make the roster. If he makes the practice squad or whatever, I don't think he's going to make the roster. That's all I got to say for the wide receivers as far as I'm concerned. Oh, Anaya Smith. Anaya Smith is not NFL ready. I'm sorry. Whether it be special teams, because he did a good job. Like he had a hard time catching the ball, but he did one thing where he had a punt return. Did a really good job of showing some athleticism and speed of reversing the field. Then he fumbled. Then he dropped some passes. Anaya Smith, I don't want to call you ass, but he's not NFL ready. I thought he was a lot because I looked at the tape at Texas A&M. I looked at it. But some players just aren't ready. Now, I talk shit about Covey, and look at what Covey is now. Not only Covey is a hell of a returner, he actually is a receiver threat. Now, as far as Anaya Smith is concerned, I'm not going to close the book on him and say he's garbage or bust or whatever the hell you want to call him. But I will say at this point in time, I don't want to see him on the field. I'm keeping it real. Like, if I have to see him on the field during the preseason because you got to play your backups, I'll do that. But as far as him getting any meaningful playing time in the regular season unless somebody goes down and gets injured, I'm sorry, Anaya Smith, it's just not ready. Now, it could be very well be, okay, first game jitters. And maybe the second game he'll clean it up. But as of right now, if we're speaking only the first game, Anaya Smith, with all due respect, he's not NFL ready. I'm just keeping it real. Okay? Who else I want to talk about? Mekhi Becton, when he got taken out the game after the first drive, I was thinking like, oh, he must have performed really bad. And they just throwing Tyler Steen in there. But according to what I've been hearing with Joey Shakes and other people were saying, Mekhi Becton actually did a really, really good job. And maybe they tried to pull him like kind of how they pulled DeAndre Swift in the preseason, but I wasn't aware of that. Tyler Steen, by the way, I know everybody's going to go crazy about the penalties, but I'm keeping it real with you. Tyler Steen was actually played pretty good if you ask me. And I still don't even think that the right guard position is 100% like the competition is done. Because I see Tyler Smith, especially on the run blocking. I mean, god damn, like Tyler Steen legit, man. My only question about him is going to be pass blocking. Because I think if I remember correctly from last year, he did a really, really good job of run blocking. Like, that's clearly his strength. But the pass blocking, he needs a little bit of work. So, the pass blocking to me is what's going to determine who's actually starting and who's backing up. But I like Tyler Steen, definitely gotten better, and he's a guy I watch out for sure. Calcaterra definitely looked like he's going to be tight end too. The thing with him, he's just going to have to stay healthy. That's going to be the thing with him. It's like Kellen Moore's putting a lot of emphasis on that he should be tight end number 2. We'll see what happens when it comes to that, because the way he was catching the ball, he looks like it. But we'll have to see. Calcaterra's blocking isn't bad either, so that's a plus. But he has to stay healthy. As a tight end too, you have to stay healthy. So my concern for Calcaterra is going to be his health. But as far as talent and ability, I think he's more than capable of being a tight end too, right? Toth had some issues. Did some good things, but he has some issues too. I feel like that his issues are more glaring than those 2 penalties that everybody's freaking out about Tyler Steen about. I feel like that Toth is a tad bit. I'm a little bit more concerned. I think Toth was actually getting chewed out by what's the good name? Jeff Stoutland. I think Jeff Stoutland was chewing out Toth. Oh yeah, Albert O didn't do nothing. E.J. Jacobs had a very, very hard. I think he had either a drop or a bad penalty. C.J. Uzomah was just kind of quiet, but I guess everybody was just moving around a little bit. Defense. Let's talk about defense now. Okay, so Jalen Carter had a bad pass, played really good in that first series. Quinyon Mitchell fucked up, I think, on one play during the first drive, and then he almost made up for if not a pick 6, it would have been a big interception for a pretty big return, because he did a really good job of covering his guy, and he sniffed out the play. So, by the way, I want to have a quick conversation about Quinyon Mitchell. So I said that Quinyon Mitchell over Isaiah Rodgers, and why Quinyon Mitchell should be redshirt. So what it looks like to me, it seems like Vic Fangio wants to have Quinyon Mitchell be a nickel corner, and he might be our starting nickel corner, y'all. So he might not be redshirt. He's just not going to be playing outside like how what we initially brought him in for. Tyler Hall, the guy we got from the Raiders, who I don't think he's going to make the team. If he might, but probably not. If so, practice squad. But Tyler Hall made a play. It was pretty good. By the way, so with Vic Fangio, so offensively, real quickly, Kellen Moore's offense is going to be exactly the same. So don't really expect too much big changes. Like it's going to be the same. Only difference is it's going to be the spacing is better, and the routes are a huge difference. And it seems like there's more of a willingness to run the football with Kellen Moore. Now, defensively speaking, right? Milton Williams made a play. I didn't hear much about Bryce. I think Bryce Huff was starting. I didn't hear much about him. Patrick Johnson had the strip sack fumble that allowed Jake Elliott to win the game, because Jake Elliott, Jesus Christ, I'm hoping it's just a one bad game fluke, because he missed a PAT, he missed an easy field goal, he missed a game-winning field goal. So hopefully, it's just like it's just one of those. Everybody got a bad day, because he didn't really look so hot. I'm being real with you. So Jake Elliott didn't have a good day. Braden Mann still looks very, very good. He's building. Again, one of the very few bright spots of last year. Braden Mann still, continuing that success, so he did really, really good. Ajomo had a couple penalties, but I thought he made some pretty good plays. Marlon T made a play or two. I said Mitt Williams played good already. Carter played good. Jordan Davis, I don't know if he was playing or not. Don't quote me on that. So moving on with that, and I said something about Patrick Johnson having a strip sack fumble. Okay, Nolan Smith. I was a little bit concerned, like, Nolan Smith, you kind of got to show me a little something. You've been quiet in training camp. Like, what's up? You said that, I'll eat through the floor. That's how hungry you was. Nolan Smith played a hell of a second half. He was violent, got a sack. He looks fast, explosive. He looks like ready to knock somebody's fucking head off. So shout out to Nolan Smith. He played really good. He had a really, really good second half. Nakobe Dean made a play or two. But I think Nakobe Dean needs to do more, because I'm telling you right now, Trotter fucking Jr., like, no disrespect to LeBron James and his son, but this ain't no situation where it's like this nepotism. This motherfucker, Trotter Jr. can fucking play. I'm talking about NFL starter. This nigga is fast, he got a high motor, and he hits hard. Like, this motherfucker was smacking the shit out of motherfuckers. He hits hard. Like, Trotter Jr., I ain't gonna lie. If Fangio was smart, that's my starter. So Dean, he had a play or two. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it's just a completely different skill gap. I'm sorry. I look at how fucking Trotter Jr. was playing. I look at how Dean was playing. Dean's like, all right, he's all right. Trotter Jr. jumps off the fucking page, bro. He jumps out the page. Like there's no going around that. Devin White, I think, made a play or two. And Fangio had him blitz one time, so that was good. Fangio also did some creative shit where he had no... So, I see some different shit with the defense, right? The defense is still the same as far as the space, like the fucking bend don't break bullshit. It's ugh. But the good thing is we didn't allow much. You know, we got to the red zone, but you know we did a really good job of stopping the Ravens when they got into that territory. So the bend don't break shit is gonna kill me. Motherfuckers was like, I thought we was down, like the way the motherfuckers was back, I thought we was down by like 30 points or some shit like that. But that's just how the defense works. It's fucking stupid. But I like Fangio's creativity where he will have guys blitz on the edge. So he had Quentin Mitchell blitz at one time. I think he had Tyler Hall blitz at one time. I think he had Nolan Smith blitz on the edge at one time. So he's very creative with the defense as far as how his blitz is concerned. So he definitely do some creative shit in there. But this long, say I think number 39, this guy that I think had a tackle with Nolan Smith. He had long arms. I think he's like a corner transition into safety. He played pretty good. Like he had a couple big hits himself. Who else? Rodgers. I don't know. I mean, I think he got caught up a couple times in that first drive. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Kelly Ringo was look like fucking Darrelle Revis. I mean, this nigga was locking people up left and right. He was locking up, and everyone's like, well, he's just the backups. No. I don't give a fuck who was on the field. Kelly Ringo would have did the same shit. I'm telling you right now. I don't think Isaiah Rodgers' spot should be safe. It might be, but I don't think it should. Because Kelly Ringo was locking motherfuckers up to the point where quarterbacks went out of their way to not throw to his side. This nigga prevented a touchdown. Like Kelly Ringo, talk about, it's either between him and Britton Covey as my MVP. Because both of them played lights out spectacular. Britton Covey's my MVP on offense, defense is Kelly Ringo. Kelly Ringo played his ass off. I mean, shout out to Kelly Ringo because I thought like, oh my God, I wanted them to draft you. Then when you got in the league, your footwork is a little bit sloppy. You know, and then as the season got on and you started getting some significant playing time, I started seeing some talent and some spurts here and there. Now it looks like that he's fundamentally sound. He's doing the right things. A complete 180 from what I've seen, at least last year in the preseason. So shout out to Kelly Ringo because he looking like he a baller, right? I think that's pretty much it as far as that's concerned. Yeah, so we ended up getting a win. Not really much to write outside of Nate Wiggins. There was not many stand-up players for Baltimore, if you ask me. That's all I got for you. So for the next what's going to happen moving forward, right? So I got another video. It's going to be the last thing of the TikTok meme compilation where we do the improv shit. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do from there. I'll keep y'all updated. And then we're going to be definitely watching the Patriots preseason game. I'll talk to you about the joint practices, what's going to be going on and stuff like that. So that's all I got for y'all, all right? Man, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all weekend, whatever the case may be. And I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Peace. Hey!